Hi everyone, in this video we are going to solve a problem. The problem name is linked list random node and the problem number is 382. Alright, so first of all guys, we are going to clearly understand what this problem says. After that we are going to move to the logic part where we are going to see how we can solve this particular problem, and after that we are going to move to the implementation part. We are going to implement our logic in C++, Java and Python programming language. Fine, now let's see this particular problem, what this problem says, right? So given a singly linked list, return a random nodes values from the linked list. Okay, so we are given the singly linked list. After that, we have to return a node's value, right? And the node is going to be decided by randomly, right? Fine. Each node must have same probability of being chosen. Now it says that every node should have a same probability so that we can get a random node, right? Fine. Implement the solution class. So now guys, this is a class which we have given in we can say the code part. The first one is nothing but constructor, where we have to initialize the object with the head of synchronic list. Second one is nothing but a method get random. Choose a node randomly from the list and return its value. All the nodes of list should be equally likely to choose. Now guys, let me show you these two particular method and constructor in my compile code. So guys, this is nothing but we can say the first one is nothing but we can say constructor. In C++, the constructor name should be the same as the class name, right? But in Python, it should be init. So here what we have to do, we have to just initialize our linked list so that we can use in our class. The second one is nothing but method we can say, and this method is nothing but we can say in this method we have to randomly choose a particular node from a linked list so that such that the probability of every node in a linked list should be the same, right? After that we have to return that particular node value. I hope the question is clear to you, right? So now let's move to the next part. So let's understand this particular example. So in this example you can see that we are given the 1, 2 and 3, right? This is nothing but we can say the linked list. So let me, they have also drawn the images as well, right? Now first random get random, so we should return that particular node so such that randomly, so that every node, this one and this one, all these three nodes have a same probability of being chosen, so that we have to return the first random we can say value, right? So they have given us nothing but one. So the first time we got a random value is nothing but this one. Second time we got 3, third time we got 2, the fourth time also we got 2, the fifth time we got 3. So how does we are getting it? How can we return this particular value? That thing we are going to see in the logic part, right? So now let's move to the logic part and see how we can solve this particular problem, right? So let me write a logic. So okay. So now guys, listen carefully. This logic part is going to be very easy for you. And if you know a little bit about programming language, then you can easily solve in we can say little bit more time complexity, but you can easily solve this particular problem, right? But we are going to see the we can say the most efficient part as well, right? So first of all, let's talk about the brute force approach. What can be the brute force approach, right? Here, as there are many solutions, right? So brute force approach. So guys, the first brute force approach is going to be nothing but once we are getting in constructor our linked list, we're just going to find out the length. I hope this is making a sense, right? So you have to find the just length. So if you find a length, let's say length is something, let's say 10. Okay. So now you can use this 10 number in your random function. I hope this is making a sense. So what you're gonna do, you can use in your programming language in C++ also there's a function rand with the name of rand. In Java also there's a function math dot random. In Python also there's a function dot random, right? So you just gonna use nothing but this thing. You are gonna pass this value to 10, and after that whatever the value is gonna come from your random function in integer data type, right? If it is in double, then convert into integer. So whatever the value is coming between 1 to 10, that value node value you have to return simply. So what you're gonna do, the first phase we can say you're gonna find the length. You will traverse over the linked list, you're gonna find the length. And second phase you're gonna use of random function which is gonna return an integer value. And in third time, step we can say you're gonna traverse again to the linked list till that particular point. We can say let's say the random is 5, so you're gonna move to the fifth node and then you are gonna return the node value. I hope this is making a sense, right? So in brute force approach we are gonna use a 3 step. I hope this is making a sense. So but it how this is we can say not efficient because we are going to traverse the linked list 2 times, isn't it? First time finding a length, second time moving to that particular number. So but can we do this in just one go? Can we just move to we can say traverse only one time our single linked list and we can get our random node? Yes, we can do that. In nothing but we can say the next approach. So we can say write a efficient approach. So efficient approach, and how this is gonna work, let's see that. Don't worry about that how we are gonna do, but just focus over there. The first thing which we're gonna do say that the assuming that let's say let me move to the below. So let's assume there is a 7 point, right? So 1 is pointing to 2, is pointing to 3, is pointing to 4, and this one is pointing to 5. Let's keep it 5 only, right? So this is nothing but null. I hope this is making sense. This is our simply linked list. Let assume that this is given to us, right? Fine. Now guys, what we are going to do, we are going to say that if this is if there is only one node, right, assume that this is one node, then what is the probability of getting it? Obviously it should be the one, isn't it? Every time whenever you call a random function, this is going to return one only. Why? Because there is only one node, so it is going to choose one, right, isn't it? If you find a random value between 1 to 1, what is the random value you will get? You will get one only. So if there is one node, then you can say this is nothing but your head value, right? So you can say our result is nothing but 1, the first head value. So we can, here also we can say initially assume that the length is nothing but this much and result is nothing but head dot value. I hope this is making a sense. Once this is done, then what you are going to do, you are going to increase your, we can say, the length of your linked list. So it's going to be 1 to 2, right? Now you have 2. Now what are you going to say? You're going to say just tell me the random, we can say we have two values, so tell me the random function 1 comma 2 between random. What is the random value you are getting? If it is going to say 1, if it is going to say 1, then we don't we can say that okay, if I'm getting a random function 1, then we are going to update my result with this particular value. But if your random value between 1 to 2 is nothing but 1, it's let's say 0, or we can say uh, 2, it is 2, let's say, right? Between 1 to 2, it can be 2, right? So if it is 2, then you are not going to change it, you are going to remain it same, you are going to move your linked list ahead. Now your linked list is going to be 3 length, right? Then again you're going to find the random number between 1 to 3. Again, if it is number is not 1, it is 2 or 3, then again you're going to change it, you're going to move ahead and you're going to move to 4. Let's say here 1 to 4, you got a random number which is 1 only, right, between 1 to 4. And if it is 1, then you're going to update your result with this particular value, current value. So let's assume that this is 1, so I'm going to say result is nothing but now my 4, right? And again you are going to increment your linked list, now it is 5, so we are going to calculate the random number between 1 to 5. So here random function is going to return, let's say 2, right? So it is not equal to 1, isn't it? It is not equal to 1. So what you're going to say? You're going to say we don't need to update our result, move ahead. And if you move ahead, you can see that your linked list got end, right? You are at the end of linked list, there is no node. So what are you going to say? Whatever the value in the result, it is nothing but it is the value is going to be whenever we are going to finding the random value between all these nodes. I hope this making a sense. So you just need to increment, you just need to increase your linked list one by one, and you have to find the random functions. If that function is going to return 1, and why it is so, if function is going to return 1, then you can say we have to update our result value with the current node value. But if it is returning anything node 1, it is written 2, 3 or 4 or 5, then you're going to say that no need to update our result, move ahead, move ahead, move ahead until you are not getting a 1, right? Once you reach to the end of the linked list, you are going to return whatever the value in your result. I hope this is making a sense. So let's see the implementation part, how we can do this particular things and how this particular, we can say, logic is going to solve our problem in just one pass, right? One go, right? So let's move to the implementation parts. Fine. So guys, first of all, I have nothing but this Python programming language. Then I will move to the C++, then Java, right? So in Python, what we are going to do, first of all, I'm going to say self.head is going to be nothing but head, right? I have initialized my linked list. Okay. Now there's a random function. So what we can say, so first of all, I'm going to say the current length is nothing but current node is nothing but head node only, right? So I can say self dot head. Fine. And then how many nodes we have currently? So we have only one node. So I'm going to say current is 0. Let's say not current. I can say count. Count is 0. Current already defined. I have already defined it. So count is 0. We don't have any nodes. And we can say result. And result, let's say head dot value, right? So current dot value. Fine. So we can say by default it's current node value because there's only one node. Then it's going to return current node value. Fine. So now I can say while current, right? So while current exists, uh, while our linked list exists, right? So what I can say count plus equal to 1. So it's going to say now length is 1. Fine. And I'm going to get the random value. So random number. It is going to be random dot rand int, and here 1 to this particular count. How many nodes we have currently, right? So if it is 1, random num is equal to 1, then what you can say? You can say my result should be updated with current dot value, right? And if it is not, so result will remain same, right? And after that you can say current should be equal to current dot next, and at the end we can return our result. All right. So let's see whether it's working fine or not. So let's see by run this particular code. And you guys can see that all the test cases are passed, isn't it? So all the test cases are passed. So let's try to submit this particular code. And here we go, guys. We have successfully submitted this particular problem as well. And you can see that, guys, the solution was very easy, isn't it? So now let's move to the last second programming language, that is nothing but C++, right? How we can solve it? C++. Simply, first of all, we have to assign, we can say our linked list. So I can say list node, and here I'm going to give the name is head. Fine. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say this head So this head is going to be nothing but head. After that, what I can say, get a random functions. So in random function, I'm going to first of all initialize the current length, that is initially with 0, and list node, we can say current, which is nothing but pointing to head. After that, we can say result, right? Int result, which is nothing but 0. Fine. So while current is not equal to null, so what I can say, if it is not equal to null, so current should be equal to current dot next. But before that, we have to increment the length as well. So we can say count plus equal to 1, and we can also do, check random value. So we can say random num is going to be nothing but there's a function rand with the name of rand. It is going to multiply by, we can say, our count, and we can add plus 1, right? So if we are adding plus 1, that means it is going to give the actual random value between 1 to count, right? And if I don't add, then it is not going to give, right? It is going to give between 0 to. So I can check it if random num is equal to 1, and if it is so, then what I going to do, I'm going to say that, let me do this thing. I'm going to say result should be updated, result should be equal to current and current value, right? And even if I don't write 1, then I have to compare with a 0, isn't it? So if I don't write 1, I have to say random num should be equal to 0. I hope this is making a sense, isn't it? So once this is done, I'm going to say return result. So let's run this particular code and see whether it's getting a right output or not. And here we got an error, compiler error, that is nothing but semicolon error. Fine. Now let's see whether it's working fine or not. And one more error, that is nothing but random rand int. Okay, so it's getting an overflow, so we can just say random. Sorry, we don't need to multiply it, we need to mode it, right? So now we can simply run this again. Actually, I need to use a mode operator in random. And now you can see that, guys, it should get accepted, right? You can see that all the test case accepted. Let's try to submit this particular code. And here we go, guys, right? It's successfully submitted. Now let's move to the last programming language, that is nothing but Java. And here again, I'm going to define my first of all linked list, single linked list. So here I can say list node, this is going to be nothing but head, and I can say this dot head should be equal to head. And here I can say in random function int current, sorry, current node count, which is going to be nothing but 0. Then we can say list, let me write here list node, which in we can say current is equal to head, and the last thing is result, which is initially 0. While current is not equal to null, that means while there is a node exit in the single linked list, we're going to say current should be equal to current next. But before that, we are going to update our counter as well, counter. And after that, we're going to check random number. So random number, if it is random number, how we can calculate the random number between 1 to count in, we can say, Java. There's a function mat.random, which is gonna give us some value, random value. We're gonna multiply it with count, fine, and then we're gonna add it, we can say the min value, which is nothing but in my case 1, right? We're gonna calculate from 1 to count, right? After that, we can convert this into integer, because we know that, guys, this is gonna give us in double value, right? So once this is done, we are gonna check it. If random number is equal to 1, if it is the 1, then what we can say? We can say result should be update result current dot value, right? So you can have to update it. Once it updated, then we are going to move to the next nodes and so on, right? So we're going to return our result. So now let's see whether we are getting any error in Java or not. I don't think so. Yes, you can see that all the tests is passed. So let's try to submit this particular code as well. And here we go, guys, right? So we have successfully submitted the code of Java, C++, and Python for this particular problem. If you still have any kind of doubt, you can ask in the comment section. I'm always there to help you. And guys, if you learned something new in this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe my channel. Meet you in the next video.